إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما والتفرق بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تدع فينا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم آمين. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him, and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah that we do bear witness that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, last time we finished the review of chapter Al-Baqarah. Still, today we will start with third chapter in the order of the Quran, which is Al-Imraan. Surah Al-Imraan, the second largest chapter in the Quran after Al-Baqarah. In the order of the Quran as a recited written book, it's number 3, because we have Al-Fatiha chapter 1, then we have Al-Imran chapter 2, then Al-Baqarah chapter 2, then Al-Imran chapter 3. Al-Baqarah 286 verses, Al-Imran 200 verses, the second largest. So now today we will have the introduction of Al-Imran. Now, before in the introduction, I will highlight something we call in the science or in the sciences of the Quran, ulum al-Quran, what we call Tafsir al-Mawdu'i, or the thematic interpretation or exegesis of the Quran, which means some ulama, they used to look at every chapter, what kind of topics or themes each surah was focusing more than others. Now this could be under the title of the main objectives of the surah, or the most important themes or subjects that this surah or this chapter has tackled or highlighted or focused on. For example, if you can notice, for example, chapter Al-Baqarah, for your information, chapter Al-Baqarah, the revelation of the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, it was the first year of Al-Hijrah, of immigration, and it ended nearly before the death of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it took 10 years. 10 years of what? Of the new Islamic state. So there was a civil society. So chapter Al-Baqarah, 10 years of revelation, nothing of chapter Al-Baqarah came at Mecca. Regulations, how to deal with others. So that's why you will see the amazing characteristics of each chapter. Chapter Al-Baqarah, for example, just to connect for your information, at the very beginning, if you remember, those who started with us, the very beginning, Allah made it clear the classification of the people. Believers and unbelievers. And the non-believers, munafiqeen, and direct non or disbelievers. Do you remember? Then the beginning of the creation, your father Adam. The first declaration of enmity by the ultimate enemy of our father Adam alayhi salam. It gives you your purpose, why you are here. إِنِّي جَعَلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ Khalifa, be careful, believers and non-believers. This is how Allah classified. No, I don't like it. If you don't like it, I don't care about you. If you are a Muslim, you have to like it. But we have to be inclusive. We replied about this tens of times. No one on earth is inclusive. Everyone has some kind of exclusivity. It's impossible. Or otherwise, you tell me. Let me do it in this test. What do you think is the best democratic state on earth now? The best, from your point of view, humanly speaking, the best democratic, tolerant state on earth. Give me something you believe in it, seriously. No one? You don't believe in any democratic state on earth? طيب, what do you think the majority of nice, good, normal people on earth think is the best democratic state? Sweden? Who said Sweden? Type Sweden. Does Sweden accept anyone who loves Sweden to be Sweden? Yes or no? طيب, are they inclusive? طيب, period. Period. Done. طيب, for many people, America is the best country, the most powerful country. Are they inclusive? Do they accept you if you love them as an American? Do they give you? Because if you declare, I love America, I love America, do they give you citizenship immediately? Seriously, I'm asking. No. No one. So when you say we have to be inclusive, what do you mean by inclusive? There is no inclusive. Ultimate does not exist on earth in any system. If you are not following the Communist Party in China, do they accept you to be in the ruling party there? If you do not accept liberal democratic values, are you accepted to be in any political party in France? So it's just an empty talk when you talk about this. And by the way, do Jews and Christians accept Muslims as believers? I'm asking, do they? So what is the strange thing when we as Muslims say, in our religion, our God told us that people are believers and unbelievers. Inclusivity. So I mean, everyone has his own view. For Jews, I'm not a believer. For Christians, I'm not a believer. So for Hindu, I don't believe in Buddhism. Am I a believer in Buddhism for Buddhists? No. So what's the problem? Why all of them, they are not asked to be inclusive and to accept me as part of them? Why? So be careful. So anyway, I'm just reminding you about chapter Al-Baqarah, general about them. Now we will start with Al-Imraan. In chapter Al-Baqarah, there was a lot of talk about hypocrites, believers and non-believers, and a lot of regulations about the state. Now, in today's chapter, I will give you an idea about some very specific, let's say, points about this chapter. Now, number one, the name, it's Al-Imraan. It is a Madani chapter. You need to know this terminology. We have the word Makki and Madani. Makki means anything was revealed before immigration, not in Mecca, regardless where, okay? But in the time before the immigration, before the hijrah, anything was revealed before the hijrah, which means the first 13 years, it's called Makki. Even it was revealed outside Mecca, in the way between Mecca and whatever, it's called Makki. Madani referred to the word Al-Madina, Al-Munawwara, after the immigration. So, it's consensus by ulama, ijma' al-mufassirin, that Al-Imraan, that we will start today, is a Madani chapter. Number one. Now, the numbers of the verses of this surah is 200. The name is Al-Imraan. Al-Imraan, because one of the main topics that was discussed in this chapter is the story of Al-Imraan, the house of Imran, from the people of Israel. Al-Imraan, we will discover Imran and Zakaria and Maryam alayhi salam. We have a lot of details about it from the house of the children of Israel. You need to know something in you as well. Asma' us-suwar tawqifi. The names of the chapters, they have a special terminology in Islamic ulum al-Quran, the science of the Quran. It's tawqifi. Terminology tawqifi means it's not something that the Sahaba, they decided to attribute to the Quran. It's something Prophet Muhammad told them, this is the name of the surah by such and such period. So it was decided by Allah through Archangel Gabriel, through Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? However, every chapter could have an extra descriptions or titles that gives some kind of more descriptive, let's say, attributes of this surah. No problem. Al-Imraan, it's tawqifi. Tawqifi means Prophet Muhammad who decided to tell us because he was told to add so. But from the extra names. That is name. قال الزهراوين. For example, Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم قال اقرأوا الزهراوين. Read. Zahrawain is one of the titles that is used for Al-Baqarah and Al-Imran. Okay, the two brightening, for example, chapters. Okay, it's an extra. Now, for example, if I came and said chapter Al-Imran, Surah Al-Jidal مع النصارى, the chapter that gives you the highest level of arguments with Christians. Yes, because it contains the highest level of arguments with Christians. Okay, it's a descriptive title for the surah or some part of the surah, no problem. The origin name is Al-Imran, and it could have another 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 names. For example, now Surah Al-Isra. Some ulama, they call it Surah Bani Israel. Because it talks specifically about a very important thing regarding the children of Israel. Even though the main title, the Tawqifi, is Al-Isra. Okay? So Al-Imran is Tawqifi. You know, aware now what do you mean by Tawqifi? It was decided by Allah through Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. طيب. Now, about the virtue, the value of reading this surah. What kind of state that this surah has. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a Sahih hadith was narrated by Imam Muslim said, قال اقرأوا الزهراوين البقرة وسورة آل عمران فإنهما تأتيان يوم القيامة كأنهما غمامتان أو كأنهما غيايتان أو كأنهما فرقان من طير صواف تحاجان عن أصحابهما. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, recite the two bright ones, Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran, for they will come on the day of judgment as if they were two clouds, or Prophet Muhammad said, Ghamamatan means two clouds. He's trying to resemble what kind of benefit you will be benefiting from reading Al-Imran. They will be visualized as if they are two clouds covering you and protecting you on the day of judgment. أو غيايتان. Al-ghayaya, anything that covers the person, whether a cloud or anything else. An umbrella, a patio, we call it a patio, or whatever. So which means Baqarah and Imran, they have a function. If you read them, they will protect you in the day of judgment. They will be like the bodyguard, will save you, especially in the time of the accountability. Okay? قال أو غيايتان, or like two flocks of birds in ranks, they will come pleading on behalf of those who recite them. It's all like examples that if you read these two chapters, you will have a great status. You will have something that will take care of you. Something will defend you in the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permits. طيب. Next point. قال مقاصد السورة. The main objectives and the main themes of this surah. Just to have a general idea before we get into the surah ayah by ayah. And by the way, now I did something in chapter Al-Baqarah which I was going through nearly literally verse by verse. Now I will not do this. We will just have a general idea about the chapter, then I will pick and choose some of the ayat so that we can have quick, instead of taking 3 years, for example, Al-Baqarah, we'll try to do it in a few months, inshallah. It's like a new strategy, bi'idhnillah. But now this is the introduction. From the main objectives and themes of Al-Imran is the following. قال تقرير أصول الشريعة المتمثلة في عقيدة التوحيد والعدل والنبوة والمعاد. Big 4 main objectives chapter Al-Imran is focusing on and mentioning. قال affirmation of the fundamental principles of Islam. The surah establishes the core tenets of Islam, namely the monotheism, justice, prophethood, and afterlife. So we will witness how many verses are revolving around these two monotheism. What monotheism is. Especially when discussing Christians. Because one of the biggest themes that this chapter is repeating and having a dialogue and conversation is the Christian beliefs. So, now monotheism, justice, prophethood, because it talks about Imran and Zakaria and Maryam and Isa alayhi salam, a lot of prophets, okay? And the concept of prophethoods, the family, how, when, depending on what, how they deal, how they react, how Allah honors them. So it gives you a very beautiful idea about this. We will go through this. And afterlife, which is the hereafter, one of the main pillars in Islam. And by the way, believing in Allah and the hereafter could be the most two important when we speak about articles of faith. Because when you say article of faith, to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wa malaikatihi, the angels, wa kutubihi, the books, wa rusulihi, wal yawmil akhir wal qadari khayrihi wa sharrihi. You will notice that the most two repeatable things together, يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر. بالله واليوم الآخر. They have more highlights than other pillars. How many times you will witness the Quran mentioning Allah and the hereafter compared with Allah wa malaikatihi, or compared with Allah with all of them, they are pillars. But you see why? Because اليوم الآخر, the hereafter, the afterlife, is a basic pillar. Everything of the non-seen will have nonsense if it does not exist. Life is based on trial, صح? الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم. We use the common sense, the revelation, the true news to accept. We have not witnessed physically the existence of Allah, nor the angels. We did not witness the revelation. We did not see the prophets. So all of these are ghaib for us now. When we will witness all of these things? After death. So if even in theory, if I believe in Allah and I believe in the angels and I believe everything, but I don't care about the hereafter, as if I'm doing nothing. Because the full picture and the end of the story and the exact physical visualization for everything I'm discussing now will be there. So that's why, subhanAllah, it's a very important pillar. And by the way, the whole idea of a trial and a hisab, patience, reward, depending on what. Don't lie. But I can become a multimillionaire now if I lie. No, don't. Why? Because Allah commanded you. But I would love to lie. Don't lie. Respect Him. What is the reward? Reward when? When? Where is the reward? Hereafter. Someone hurt you for the sake of Allah. Your father hurted you. Your mother, a very dear person, he was bad with you. You are highly asked to what? To forgive. من عفا وأصلح فأجره على الله. Give the pardon. Do your best. Why? Reward. When? There. You can take revenge and commit a crime 10 times as a revenge. And you can control yourself. Why shall I control myself? Because Allah commanded you. I can exceed the limits in taking revenge. Someone caused a big damage for me. I decided to take revenge from him, his family, his wife, his daughter, his son, and to destroy everything. He controls 10 times more than what he did with me. But if I can, what will stop me? What do you think will stop me? Nothing. But I'm able to do it. The only thing that will stop me is the fear of Allah. Period. Because Allah said, وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. This person caused this damage for you. His mother, his father, his daughter, his whatever. They are not part of the problem. You have no right to hurt them. But he was very bad with you. Others, unless if they were supporting him. This is another case in the courts. Now, وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. I have no right to take revenge in this idol. Why should I control? Because Allah commanded me. By the way, very simple. When you look at this, what stops you as a believer from many things that you can stop doing or you can do if you wish? Simply your faith. By the way, literally, in theory, technically, how many times if we decided to be thieves, we can be thieves? Seriously, generally speaking. Tens of opportunities. I mean, in many cases. But why we don't touch anything? Because theft is prohibited. That's why there is no faith, insurance companies prosper. Everyone must have insurance. Why? Because everyone could be a thief at any time. Simply, why not? Seriously, why not? I'm thirsty. I know that this water does not belong to me. No one can see me. And I'm safe and secured for any kind of accountability. Why not to take it, for God's sake? Why not? By the way, don't tell me we have civilized people. No, Habibi. You have people who fear the law and the enforcement of the law. The best democratic country, if there is no CCTV, what happens in reality in terms of theft and sexual harassment? What happens? You know what happens. Tens and thousands of cases. Why? Because he or she, they felt safe not to be caught on camera, or if I can't escape with it, I will do anything. One of the good examples, the island of Epstein. You read about it, huh? You heard about it. Mr. Epstein, they used to do for the big high ranks from all over the world. Bill Clinton, Epstein, the island where there was sexual assault against children, against minors. Big well-known people. Why? From their point of view, they were saved from what? To be caught. It's a secret. In the area of faith, there is no secret. That's why believing Allah has implications, which is you believe in His attributes. Al-Alim, nothing can be hidden from Him. Al-Khabir, He knows everything. As-Sami', anything. So, either you are a believer and submit, or a disbeliever, face the consequences. Close the file, awal al-satr. That's it. Okay? So, this is one of the main objectives of the chapter. Another line of objectives. قال من المقاصد الرئيسية مجادلة النصارى فيما هم فيه من عقائد. The refutation of Christian doctrine, one of the main purposes of this surah is to engage in dialogue with Christians regarding their beliefs. Now you know the most two closest religions or faiths to us as Christians and Jews, because we do share with them what? Believing in Allah as the God who revealed and who sent the books and who revealed the messages, and they have a special title in our religion and a high respect for many of them. And by the way, maybe many people they don't know, we as Muslims, we call them the people of the book. We as Muslims, the only group of people on earth, apart from Muslims, that we are allowed to do two main things with them, which is marriage and eating their slaughtered meat. You know, when they slaughter a sheep or a camel or something from something that's permitted, the only, apart from Jews and Christians, you are not allowed to marry or to eat their meat. It's not our decision, it's Allah's decision. Because we do share a big area. Okay? And by the way, some people they don't know. In Islam, if a Muslim man decided to marry a non-Muslimah and she is a non-Jew or a non-Christian, okay? The marriage contract is invalid. It's invalid from the beginning. And it will be a fornication. Invalid. Atheist, Buddhist, Hindu, agnostics, whatever, if she is not a Jew or a Christian or a Muslimah, the contract marriage is what? Invalid. لا يقع أصلا. باطل. So, طيب, yet we do share with them this. However, we believe that their shari'as and their religions, they have been abrogated. This is another terminology. Abrogated. Who knows what does it mean? Abrogation. Yes? Mansukh. Which means it was valid for a certain time. Now it's abrogated. Mansukh. Mansukh means it's not valid anymore and not acceptable. Freeze everything as if it does not exist. Okay? This is so, because this is one of the main things, part of the discussion that we will be having. Now, third line of the main objectives of this surah. قال كشف الصراع الأصيل والدائم بين أهل الإيمان والتوحيد وبين أهل الكفر والشرك. Exposing the ongoing conflict between faith and disbelief. The surah highlights the perpetual struggle between the followers of faith and monotheism and those who adhere to disbelief and polytheism. We will be dealing with many verses talk about that. It's not your decision and that's up to you. There is no meeting point between people of faith and people who are against people of faith. The conflict is eternal till the day of judgment. Whether you love, but not because of your decision, it's because their decision. But Allah is telling you about this. This is, we will have many verses about. Now, number 4, from the main objectives of this surah. قال بيان حال المؤمنين مع ربهم حيث عرضت جملة صالحة من أخبار النخبة المختارة من البشر التي اصطفاها سبحانه لأداء رسالته وجعلها ذرية بعضها من بعض. Now, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is highlighting in this chapter the state of believers with their Lord, presents several noble examples of righteous individuals chosen by Allah to convey His message. As we say, Maryam alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, Zakaria alayhi salam, Imran, Zawjat Imran, the whole house, how they were dealing with Allah, like a very, exposing, highlighting a very noble examples for the believers. Type. In this, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. In this context, we need to know the following, because we have main objective in chapter Al-Imran. This point, let's highlight the following. How do we Muslims now view to the previous books and messengers and religions? Very quickly, we as Muslims believe that Allah sent Adam alayhi salam plus big number of prophets and messengers, and they were finished, ended by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the Quran, we know 25 of them. However, Prophet Muhammad said in a hadith that the number of prophets and messengers, they are 124,000. Prophets. The messengers, 315. We know 25. طب how did we know that? Prophet Allah said it clearly in the Quran, وَرُسُلًا لَمْ نَقْصُصُهُمْ عَلَيْكَ. We have mentioned some of the messengers to you. However, some others we did not mention. When he was asked about those, what is their number? He said 124,000. Imagine, we know 25. So, okay, what about them? We believe the following about them. Now, from those whom we know Adam, طبعا, alayhi salam. And we know Idris, alayhi salam. We know Noah, Nuh, alayhi salam. We know Ibrahim, alayhi salam. We know Jacob, Yaqub alayhi salam. We know Joseph, Yusuf alayhi salam. We know Musa, Moses alayhi salam. We know Isa, Zakaria, Ayub, okay? Yohanna, John, Yahya. All of that, Sulaiman alayhi salam, Solomon, David, Dawood alayhi salam. We know about their names. I know this is from, for example, this is the descendant of this is the offspring of this and that, because we were told in the Quran. We know Ibrahim, we know Ismail, we know Ishaq, Isaac, Ishaq, Ishmael. We know them. Type. What about the rest? All of them, they came with one religion. In terms of faith and values, no change. Same religion, which is Islam. We call it Islam. Same religion in terms of faith, no change. يعني From Adam to Muhammad, through the 25 that we know, and through the 124,000 plus 315 messengers that we don't know, they came with one religion in terms of faith. Which means all of them, they came to ask people to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one God. We don't have Darwinism and evolution and adaptation in faith. We don't have this silly theory that says people used to be, for example, polytheists. Then they start developing themselves. Then they became more mature. They became monotheists. No. From day one, they were monotheist, oneness of God. But some of them, they changed. Allah came with the correction with another prophet to tell them, come to the right track. Okay? So all of them, they came with one religion in terms of faith and values. Lying is bad from day one. No change. Disrespecting parents is bad and haram. Fornication is prohibited. Killing someone without a valid reason, such as he wants to kill you, or he is a mass killer, or he's doing something, it's completely prohibited. So it's called the dam al-haram. Okay? The blood of the people, it's always prohibited. So the same main values and the same religion in terms of faith. However, different what? Regulations, teachings, shara'a. That's why Torah means law. Sharia means law. Law means Sharia. Difference. Okay? So we believe in all of them. However, we believe that all of those who came in their time, they came for a specific group in a specific time, and it's not universal. All of them, including Isa alayhi salam. So Isa alayhi salam was sent to the children of Israel. That's it. Not a universal in our faith. The only one who was sent للناس كافة is just Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Isa alayhi salam was sent to the children of Musa alayhi salam was sent to the children of Israel. Dawood alayhi salam, Sulaiman alayhi salam, Zakaria alayhi salam, Yahya alayhi salam, all of them just to the children of Israel in their times. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the only one who was the seal of the prophets. His book included all the abrogated books, and it contains the cream of all the messages in this book, which is the Quran. And the Quran is the constitution for humanity. It's good just to keep this idea in your mind when we are about to deal with chapter Al-Imraan. طيب, let's now start at least the first 2 or 3 ayat, and I will stop inshallah. At least, alhamdulillah, we have the barakah of starting now. The first ayah, Alif, Lam, Mim. Even if I stop by this, it will be good. Now, ترتيب السور وترتيب الآيات في السور توقيفي as well. And we have something called ترتيب النزول, and we have ترتيب المصحف. This is all terms, it's good to know them. Now, the order of the chapters in the Quran, which means the fact that Al-Fatiha is number 1 and Al-Baqarah is number 2, Al-Imran is number 3, it was not the decision of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was the decision of who? Who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, did Al-Fatiha necessarily, for example now, chapter, let's say, for example, 24 is, for example, Maryam or Al-Kahf, while chapter, for example, 96 or 97 is Al-Qari'ah Mal-Qari'ah. Does this mean that Al-Qari'ah came after Al-Kahf or Maryam? No. We have two different orders. The order of revelation, the time of revelation varies. Very specific, miraculous. Quran was revealed on a span of a time of 23 years. يعني the first 5 ayat was revealed. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق, from the chapter Al-Alaq. Chapter Al-Alaq is in Juz'u 30, the last chapter of the Quran. This specific 5 chapters, first chapters in the first night of revelation. So this is called the now, the fact that these 5 verses came number 1 does not necessarily they are number 1 in the Quran which is the final order. Okay? But who decided the order of recitation? It's Allah. Who decided the order of revelation? It's Allah. What was the role of Muhammad ﷺ? To follow the commandment. What was the role of the Sahaba? To follow what Muhammad ﷺ did and told them. Period. Awal sadr. Clear? Because, by the way, you need to know that this is something consensus between Muslims. Because you will go to some social media accounts, people who try to spread out. You say, how do we know? Who we know? No. Okay. Sit for the knowledge, seek the knowledge, and you will know how. It's a special knowledge. Ulum al-Sharia is a very intensive knowledge. Now, Alif, Lam, Mim. The title of this huruf is called Al-Huruf Al-Muqatta'a in Arabic. Al-Huruf Al-Muqatta'a. One of the miraculous or miracles of the Quran. And we have different opinions about the meaning of Alif, Lam, Mim. A good number of mufassirin, if not the majority, they say Allahu a'lamu bimuradih. No one knows exactly what is the meaning. طيب, why they are there? Why they are there? And by the way, if you remember, chapter Al-Baqarah started with what? Alif Lam Mim as well. طيب, let me convey to you something you will feel very happy to know it. A very important piece of knowledge about Quran. Yes, we might have something in Quran does not have specific meaning, but it has a function and a role. لا معنى لها لكن لها وظيفة. It plays a significant role in its place, even if it does not have a meaning. How come? The role or the function or the job or the task that this Alif Lam Mim or these letters, which apparently we don't know the meaning, what is their function? Their function is to challenge Arabs. According to opinions of some scholars, they say as if, hey Arabs, you disbelieved in this prophet. You claim, some of you, that he's a liar. And he has composed this by himself. Okay, you are the best rhetorical poets on earth and you are proud of your language. Okay, go ahead, challenge him. Alif Lam Mim, there are these simple letters that we have composed this Quran from is your language, is the alphabet of your language. Go ahead, compose a Quran like this one. Good the point? It is like the introduction. The first, it's like, do you know, just to make, sometimes, when they want to show you something very important in the theater, they want to open the curtains on a very important thing, and still it's hidden. They start before opening the theater. They start with what? Music. Boom, 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 or you know, it prepares you for something. You see, this kind, you know, this kind of music effects. Sometimes Alif Lam Mim. Mama, what's this? I know this. This is the letters of my language. Okay, yalla, bring like it, حبيبي, تفضل. ذلك الكتاب ولا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. Okay, تفضل, يلا compose, create like it, challenge. فليأتوا بعشر سور مثلي. So many times, it's not just once, many times. Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ain, Sad. These letters of your language. As if the Quran tells them, you disbelievers, don't stay arrogant. You know that you can't do it, and you are aware that this is from the same language that you are using. It's not a Chinese language or Arabs. It's not an English or Arabs. It's not a Latin. It's not a Greek. It's your language. Tfaddal. How come you are not able to challenge him, and he's always defeating you? This is the purpose of these letters. This is one of the opinions that I personally like very much, and I adapt this opinion. But If you want to go with the majority you say Allahu a'lamu bimuradih. No one knows except Allah. He decided to put it at the beginning. I personally, with that opinion, which I find it much more powerful, wallahu a'lam. طيب. Alif Lam Mim. Okay, let me stop by this, because we have, mashallah, young people. Some of them, they are asleep, and it's very hot. Inshallah, next time we will go with one of the very important ayat. وَالَّذِي أَنزَلَ عَلَيْكَ الكتاب منه آيات محكمات هن أم الكتاب وأخر متشابهات. Next time, inshallah, we will deal at least with the first 5 chapters. Then, subhanallah, I think we will stop till after the Eid, inshallah, Ramadan and the Eid. So see you next week with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Be careful, I will ask you about everything I said to